As a boy, I always went to my dentist, who was my dad's third cousin, and I would go there twice a year to get my checkup. His office was right behind the, or right to the side of the old D hospital where I was born. And you could, as you're sitting in the dental chair, you could look out and look at the hospital. That was about the only thing you could see, maybe a little bit of a tree. Anyway, one of the dental trips, I believe, was probably one of my last ones before I went on my mission down to Brazil. While I was sitting in the dental chair, um, my dentist, Dr. Crookston, came in and he's examining my teeth, and he goes, have you ever been told about that you have a ancestor or a great-great-grandfather that was in the Nauvoo jail the day before Joseph Smith and Hiram Smith were martyred? I said, no, I didn't. And he says, you need to go home and find out, ask your parents about that. He did not tell me anything more about it, but that struck up my curiosity because I had never heard that story, and so I did go home. Now, I don't remember if I immediately did that or if I asked my parents, and they weren't quite sure of the story, but after some time, as I came across an old box, a Xerox box that my parents kept, where they kept all their genealogy stuff, and I came across Robert Crookston's history. And he told the experience of being captured, put into the Carthage jail, and then released that night so that it could be ready for Joseph Smith and Hiram Smith the next morning where the martyrdom took place. What an interesting story it was, and this started my journey on finding out more about my family ancestors, and in the process creating my desire to share those stories with other people. In the process, I have published 4 books. The first one of all the relations of my dad's side, the Crookstons and Guards. On my mom's side, I did my second book on the Gardners and Lutzes, and then I did a third book on my wife's father's side, and then on my wife's mother's side. So I've published 4 books, but it's all thanks to Dr. Lynn Crookston from getting me started in the dentist chair. Now, one of the things I'd like to share is one of the things that most people don't realize about Dr. Crookston is that he is quite a swimmer. So, as many don't know, but he worked up by Bear Lake several years, and while he was going to school at Utah State, and during one of his summers when he was working at a Boy Scout camp, there was talk of Bear Lake, and nobody knew of anybody who ever swam across Bear Lake. And so Lynn decided that August, after camp was over, that he was going to swim across Great Lake. So he got a couple friends of his and their wives, and they went out there, and at 11 in the morning, he progressed swimming across the Bear Lake. To prepare for it, he got a bottle of Vaseline and put half of it on his body to, I guess, keep his pores closed with the cold water. And he determined that he was going to not miss a stroke because he's afraid if he stopped to rest, he'd never get started again. So he started at 11 in the morning. The temperature was in the 70s in the water, and he swam it. He said first mile was quite rough. After that, it got smooth, and and it took him, I think, approximately 6 hours to get across it. Well, the thing that's interesting is as far as anybody knows, he was the first person to swim across the Bear Lake. And such accomplishment was it that his son decides to do the same thing exactly 50 years after he did it. And so his son decided not to use a wetsuit. He would do it just like his dad. And he started earlier in the morning, so he started at 9:45. And he also swam across it. It was 68-degree water then when he swam. And so, quite a story about the Lynn Crookstons. We both Where we meet is my grandfather's grandfather is Lynn's father's grandfather, which is Robert Crookston, and his wife was Ann Welch. I hope this story was of interest.